All right, today, as you can see, we're going to be doing some more proofs. I know you're excited, but we are not going to do paragraph proofs. We're just going to do 2-column. We're going to stick with one method in here. A paragraph proof is really just the same thing, but you write it in sentences. This is the case because, and then your reason. So we're going to just stick with 2 columns and not worry about that. Let's take a look at our first example. So if we are writing our information on our drawings, on our diagrams, angle O is 49 and a half degrees. And angle P is 49 degrees, 30 minutes. And we want to prove that these 2 angles are congruent. So I'm going to start with my given here. Angle O equals 49 and a half degrees, and angle P equals 49 degrees, 30 minutes. Given. Number 2. All right, so we want to prove angle O is congruent to angle P. And if 2 angles are congruent, that means they have equal measure. So you might look at these and say, well, yeah, they're the same, but they don't look the same right now because they're in different units. So we either need to change 49 and a half degrees to degrees and minutes, or change the 49 degrees, 30 minutes to just degrees. I'm going to stick with the 49 and a half degrees. And so I'm going to say 49 and a half degrees is equal to 49 degrees, 30 minutes. And we can call it, let's call it, I was going to call it substitution. We'll call it conversion. We did a conversion where 1 degree is equal to 60. Stop rushing here. 1 degree is 60 minutes. So we just converted. And now that we said 49 and a half degrees is 49 degrees, 30 minutes, we can say angle O congruent to angle P, and that's because angles with the same measure are congruent. And there we go. For this next one, let's draw in our chart. Statements, reasons, diagram. So when we are given the diagram, remember that means whatever you see is fair game. From diagrams, we can get measurements like this. So in other words, I don't need to spell it out. Saying diagram means angle E is 60 degrees, given. I also can see straight lines and such. So on the left side there, I can see ABC is a straight line, or in other words, ABC is a straight angle. And so I'm going to say that right now. So I'm going to say angle ABC is a straight angle, which is also, I'm just going to double it up here, which equals 90 degrees, or 180 degrees. My goodness. And so I'm just going to say straight angle makes a line. Okay, because we can see that from our diagram. A straight angle makes a line. We can tell lines from a diagram. So now I'm going to say, because we want to eventually know about angle DBC. And so I'm going to say angle ABD plus angle DBC is equal to angle ABC. And that is our angle addition postulate. So once we do that, now we can substitute in things that we see in the diagram. So we can say 2x plus x equals 180. And at this point, we can just go ahead and solve it. We can solve that. And, it's not separate steps. It's all It's all a part of substitution. Which means that since I substituted x for angle DBC, that means that, and we could write it here as well, that DBC is equal to 60 degrees. Because that was what was angle X in our equation prior. And so I'm just squeezing it in here. Maybe I need to do this. Maybe I need to shrink that a little bit. We'll shrink it a little bit, give myself some more room. So now we can say angle DBC is congruent to angle E, and angles with equal measure are congruent. So again, the fact that angle E equals 60, that was part of our diagram. We didn't need to spell it out. Now, I'll say it right now. There aren't any examples of this in the homework tonight, but sometimes you can be asked for a counter example. And that's basically an example in which a conclusion is false, is called a counterexample. And we can use a counterexample when a conclusion cannot be proved. So in this case, it says angle A and angle E are obtuse. Oh, now I'm seeing here. My pictures didn't come out. That's so weird. So they give you... there should be two drawings here because I'm thinking, why is that A just in the middle of nowhere? So we have angle E and we have angle A, which are two obtuse angles. But that's all we're given. Can we prove that angle A is congruent to angle E? Well, we can't, because there's no measurements given here. We don't know what the measurements of them are. We could say, well, who knows? What we can do is make up a counter example. So we can show, if we can show a specific example where A and E are obtuse but not congruent, we can show that that it's false and it can't be proved. So what if we said angle E was 100 degrees? And what if we say angle A was 110 degrees? So we said this, we said this. Technically, they're both obtuse. So they're obtuse, but not congruent. And so, so this is false. It can't be true because we came up with an example where it's not. Finally, we have our given where ABC is obtuse. Oh, there should be a little BD here. Ray BD bisects angle ABC, and we want to show that angle ABD is acute. So let's start with our given. Statements, reasons. So we have angle ABC obtuse, BD, ray BD bisects, angle ABC. So let's start off with angle ABC is obtuse. Well, we know if an angle is obtuse, then its measure, angle ABC, is between 90 and 180 degrees. And so that's what we would say. We'd say obtuse angles measure between 90 and 180 degrees. So now let's use the fact that BD bisects angle ABC. Also, remember we want to talk about ABD being acute. So let's focus on, ABDs. So if BD is the bisector, we know that angle ABD is going to be equal to half the measure of ABC. And that's because angle bisector divides the angle into two congruent angles. In other words, that bisector is going to cut it in half. And so now we can take the statements from 2 and 3. In other words, if we divide everything from 2 in half, that would mean, that angle ABD would have to be in between 45 and 90 degrees. So what we basically did was we did this. We said, oh, I'm going to divide everything in half, right? Because half of ABC is equal to ABD. So that means that ABD is in between 45 and 90. Well, if ABD is in between 45 and 90 degrees, that means that angle ABD, oops, forgot my little angle there, angle ABD is acute then. And that's, we can say that, I didn't put a reason for 4. That would be substitution. Because we substituted the half ABC is the same as ABD. And so acute angles measure between 0 and 90 degrees. And we're done.